guys, welcome to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a full face, well, mostly full face, using products that are on my chopping block. So when I say chopping block, I mean products that I haven't yet decluttered, but I'm thinking of decluttering. I've already put some products that I want to declutter in a bin, and I'm going to have people look through them. But these are some products that I haven't officially decided yet if I'm going to declutter them or if I'm going to try to keep them in my collection and just try to use them a little bit more. I haven't decided. Some of these I haven't used in a while, so I'm kind of retesting them to see if I like them or if they have something that's redeeming to me that makes me want to keep them. If you are new here, hello, my name is Emily, or MEG, whatever you want to call me. On my channel, I do beauty and fashion related content, so if that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting that subscribe button. So let's just go ahead and get into the video, and as always, I will have timestamps down below in the description box in case you want to fast forward to anything, and in the description box, if you're curious, I am going to put whether or not I decide to declutter each of these items. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Okay guys, so I am now a lot closer to you. Hopefully I'm not too close. I do have my hair pulled back as always. And yeah, we're just gonna start getting to the products. Now I didn't have any primers I was going to declutter, and I also did not have any brow products I was going to declutter. So my primer is already on and my brows are done. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So I like to start with my eyes first, and the palette I'm currently thinking of decluttering but haven't decided yet is this one from Raine. This is their Vineyard Soiree Eyeshadow Palette, and this was an exclusive collaboration with Ipsy, which is why I think the quality might not be as good. Now this was made in China, but just because it was made in China doesn't necessarily mean the quality would be bad, but typically speaking, Raine Cosmetics is made in the US, so the formula for this palette is probably a little bit different, but here are the shades we're going to be working with today. The shades do look pretty when you look at them, but they don't perform, in my opinion, as well as they should. So we're just gonna go ahead and test this out because I haven't played with this palette in a really long time, like in definitely a few months. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get into this palette. Sorry if I like moved around a little bit. There was a fly flying around in here and I was trying to kill it. So the first thing we're gonna do is go into the matte brown shade. I'm gonna use this Illamasqua Glam brush, which is a really fluffy crease brush. So if I remember correctly, this is like not pigmented at all, this shadow. It's very like little, minimal pigment. Yeah, I don't even think you guys can see that on camera. It is so little pigment. You can like kind of see it a little bit now, I think, on camera, but it is just very, very sheer. I just wish it was a little bit more pigmented. Okay, now I'm going to take this Firma brush and go into the other matte shade, which is like this navy blue. And I'm just going to put that on the outer edge of my eyes and try to build that up in the crease a little bit. See, this one isn't even super pigmented either. It's a little bit more pigmented, I think, than the brown. And it's a tad bit patchy. Like, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's already like a little bit patchy. And I did put eye primer on. It's already like starting to crease a little bit, which is really annoying. I've now put it on 3 times, and that's as much as we're getting, is just this like very hint of navy blue. I wish it was just a little bit more intense, or I kind of wish that when I first put it on, like with one coat, this is what I got instead of having to build it up to this, because this is still very sheer and I don't feel like I should have to build it all the way up to something this sheer. Okay, the next thing I think I'm gonna do is go into this shade, which is this pretty shimmery shade. This is the only shade I like in the entire palette that like I feel like performs decently. You do have to put it on with your finger because it's just, it doesn't go on well with a brush. I do remember that, so you do have to use your finger, but it's a very pretty purpley shade. So you can see like it is really pretty looking, but I don't think I can just justify keeping this whole palette for one shade. And like, again, it looks really pretty. The only bad thing is that I always have to like, because you have to use your finger, this is why I don't like using my finger, is I always have to take it up a little bit more into the crease than I would like to, which I do sometimes anyway since I have more hooded eyes, but I still find it kind of annoying. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and take this shimmery olive color, and I'm gonna pick this up on the brush. I don't know how it's gonna do, but I'm gonna put this just at the outer edge of the like really pretty purple shade, and in between that and the blue. I like this shade too because I feel like I don't have a lot of palettes with a shade like this, like with an olive shade. Okay, so I'm gonna take this little shader brush and then go into this dark shimmery shade. I'm gonna put this on the outer edge of my eye underneath the lash line. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this brush again and go into the light purple shade, which is our last shade, I think, to use in this palette. And this is gonna go just on the inner portion underneath my eyes. In my opinion, this is not light enough to be like a highlighter shade. Then I'm going to use this eyeshadow from Space Case Cosmetics. This is not on the chopping block. I'm just going to use this to highlight. Okay guys, so this is the final look for the eyeshadow. Don't mind my brows right there. I need to pluck that. But here are the tops of the eyes. Here are the bottoms of the eyes. I don't know. This just isn't my favorite. The olive isn't very pigmented. It almost goes on as like a sheerer color. I like the lid shade I chose, and other than that, the rest of these shadows are just eh. And like, you guys can see all of that fallout underneath my eyes. Like, look how much fallout I have. And then you can see it here too. Like, it's all over this portion. And I tap the brush off too. I always tap the brush off. So there is just a lot of fallout, and that's the other reason this annoys me, is because there is so much fallout. I'm gonna see how it wears, but right now I'm definitely leaning towards decluttering it. I hadn't used this palette in months, so I thought maybe it wasn't as bad as I remembered. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna be using is foundation. So for foundation, we're gonna be using the Maybelline Super Stay in 105 Fair Ivory. This is their 24-hour one. I got this because I had heard good things about it, and I wanted to try like a full coverage matte foundation, and I think I came to the conclusion after trying this that that's not something I want. I will use the PUR 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie foundation. That is full coverage, but it has more of a natural finish. This has a very matte finish, and I think that's why I don't mind the PUR 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie foundation. I also will use the wand to apply that foundation a lot of the time and kind of use it as like spot foundation or spot concealing. This is just so full coverage. I'm just gonna squirt directly onto my sponge, and I cleaned my sponge too, guys. Look at that. And you can see how full coverage this is. Sometimes when I did use this, like I used this probably 3 or 4 times. I used a brush to apply it, and I could see stroke marks when I used the brush, so I just use a sponge because otherwise I would just go over it with a sponge. I will say this foundation definitely takes you like a long way. Like, you don't need a lot to cover your whole face. That's why I sprayed it, or that's why I squirted it onto the sponge, because if I squirt it directly onto my face, it's most of the time a little too much. I just feel like I'm wearing a mask is the problem. It just feels like I'm putting a mask on. It's just so full coverage. And if you are someone who's like oily skinned, or you're someone who really likes a full coverage matte foundation, this might be great for you. I just don't think it's for me. Oh, it looks like when I look at it, it just looks like I am wearing foundation, and I hate that. And you know, I am glad I tried it, because I know now the type of foundation that I want is more of a Your Skin But Better, a medium coverage foundation, or like a CC cream that can be built up, because I don't like foundations that are like completely sheer. For someone looking for a more matte coverage foundation and probably has oilier skin than me, this is a really good foundation. I just think this isn't for me. Okay, for concealer, I am going to be using the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I know a lot of people like this, but I do not. This is in the shade Fair Beige. Now, they do have a hydrating version of this. I have also tried that. I don't really like that one either because of the shades. The shades to me in that range seem to all lean a little yellow toned, and on my skin, it just makes me look orange or yellow, and I don't want that. So I'm just gonna put like literally a dot. So I'm just gonna use my finger because I don't want this to be too much. And the other thing with this too is this gets into my creases, and like I won't even put it there and it's going to get into my creases. I don't like it. To me, this is actually very similar to the Tarte Shape Tape, and I don't like that either. My under eyes are gonna look so dry. For this, I might end up just taking all of this off because I already can tell it's annoying. I feel like I need to like wet this somehow. On camera, it doesn't look that bad, but in person, it's terrible. Okay guys, I zoomed you in. Like, look how awful this looks. You can definitely tell that I'm wearing makeup. Like, from a distance on the camera and probably from a distance in real life, it looks fine, but like, you can see like all this texture. It just looks so bad to me. It's just clinging to every dry patch on my skin. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do just real quickly is spray this Tatcha Dewy Mist Setting Spray. This is not on my chopping block whatsoever. I just like need to give my skin some freaking hydration right now because I think it looks awful. Ugh, I don't know if that even helped. If I can't find someone who's my shade that would want this or close to my shade, I probably will keep it and just wear it like for on camera. And then the concealer, I'm probably gonna find someone to give this to. I definitely know people who could use this concealer. Here's the thing. So I have a bronzer, I have 2 blushes and 2 highlighters that I'm debating about cutting. The one blush I'm thinking about cutting is this one, and this is just a sample of the NudeStix Nudies bronzer and blush. I don't know what shade this is in. Oh, Sunkissed. I'm just going to apply this real quick and then I'll put everything else on, and I'm gonna use the other blush that we'll get to in a minute to set it. Thing with this, and you can kind of see it, is when you apply it, it picks up some of the foundation. Now you might be thinking, oh, well, why don't you just use your finger to apply it? Because if you use your finger to apply it, you get absolutely no color. Like, no color. I used a sponge, I used my finger. You get no freaking color if you do it that way. So the only way to get pigment on your face is to put it directly on, but then it picks up your foundation. So it's like a lose-lose situation. It's awful and it pisses me off. So let's just go ahead and do this. Some people could definitely, if they chose, use this as a bronzer. If you have like more of a cooler red tone to your skin, this would probably be like a good bronzer, but for me, this is definitely a blush. To be fair, this is probably performing worse because it's on like a really full coverage foundation. Normally when I would use this, I would use it on like a CC cream or something lighter. Like, look at that. It's like nothing. It's nothing. And I don't like that. I like blushes to be fairly pigmented, like not overly pigmented, but definitely more pigmented than this. All right, next we're gonna go into this. This is from LoveCraft Beauty, and this is their bronzer, and I think Cerebellum. This bronzer I haven't used in a while. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just like, of the bronzers I have, I don't gravitate towards it. Oh god, I really hate the base of my face right now. I am definitely taking this off as soon as this video is over. So the bronzer actually doesn't look bad. I think it looks pretty good actually. I just haven't used it in a while. So this is probably just a bronzer I don't grab for a lot, but I definitely don't think it's bad. So I actually probably will keep this. Yeah, I actually think the bronzer, it looks kind of nice. It looks very subtle on camera, but in person you can definitely see it a little bit more. It's definitely like got like a nice warm tone to it. It's not too much, it's not too pigmented. I don't mind it. So I think I might keep that. Also, my foundation is looking worse the longer I stare at it. It is currently in every single one of my pores. The other blush, which a lot of people are going to disagree with me on, but the other blush that is something I don't really love is this from Colourpop. This is their Super Shock blush, and this is in shade Growth Flirt. I like Colourpop. I think they have really good products, but this blush, I had never tried it, and I just don't really like it. This is why I don't like it. Watch. Look at that. Do you see anything? Guys, there is nothing on that brush. You can maybe see a little bit of pink. If you were someone looking for like a kiss of blush, yeah, maybe this is great for you, but no. I don't think that did anything. And had I known it was gonna be this subtle, I wouldn't have bought it. And I can't see this working for anyone with darker skin. Like, if I can't get it to show up on my pale ass, there is no way it's gonna show up on someone darker than me. If I do keep this, as I'll probably end up using a blush topper with it instead of just using the blush itself. For highlighter, I have 2 options again. So I have this is the Wet n Wild Blossom Glow highlighter. And then I also have the Kvoss Fairy Dust highlighter. The problem is with both of these highlighters for me are really the colors, because they're both pink. And as I have now learned, I don't ever wear pink highlighters. Typically, when I wear like a blue and a green look that is a little bit more cooler toned, the highlighters I go for are purple. Let me show you. I use one of these two highlighters. These are both from Wet n Wild, so I do like the Wet n Wild formula. Since I already know what the Wet n Wild formula is like, and I know I like the Wet n Wild formula, I think, again, this is just a matter of color to me. I'm not going to use this one. I think I'm just going to use the Kvoss one because, quite frankly, I haven't used this in so long that I don't remember what the formula is like. Okay, it's like pretty shimmery, I'd say. Okay, so when I look at the highlighter on my skin, it's definitely kind of subtle, I'd say. It doesn't look to be like super illuminating or anything like that. I think it's very subtle, and I don't mind that on occasion. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna grab for this a lot because I don't really grab for a lot now. You know what, let me top it off with the Wet n Wild one. Probably won't keep both of these. I'll at most keep one of them. These just aren't ones that are really exciting to me. I probably like the Wet n Wild one a little bit more just because I like a little bit more of a highlight than what this Kvoss one gave me. All right, so now we're going to set our makeup, and we're gonna use the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray. It's fine, it's fine. So here's the thing. This isn't necessarily bad if you want a matte look. Yes, I am thinking about getting rid of this just because I don't reach for it a ton because I don't typically want to look matte. But when I remember using it, I think it worked pretty well. Like, I think it held up really nicely. Okay, the sprayer on that is a little much. So we have this NYX Cobalt Blue one, and we have this PUR one. Neither of these last my waterline, but a lot of people love them. So I do have somewhat watery eyes. So I feel like if you don't have watery eyes, these might be fine for you because I've seen a lot of really good reviews on these and a lot of people like them. Because my eye look is purple, I am not going to use this one today. So we're gonna use this because brown matches purple a little bit more. And the thing is, this goes on, like you can see, this is going on like very, very pigmented. It's just the staying power that I have an issue with. All right, so for mascara, we have the Too Faced Damn Girl mascara, and then we have the Tarte Sea Surfer Curl. So the Tarte one, I love the look of my lashes with it, but it transfers like no tomorrow. And then this one is because of the wand. Look at that wand. It is thick. She is thick and she is hard to work with. I will say, like, my lash looks good in my opinion. The thing is, I can't get all of the lashes. So there's a bunch of lashes, not a bunch, but there's quite a few lashes right here that I like to get because it just adds that extra oomph to my eyes. And I can't get them because this wand is so freaking large. I feel like I've just been annoyed this whole video. I'm sorry. We're gonna go with this Tarte one because this has a smaller wand. And just try to get the edges of this lash. Okay guys, and here are my lashes, and they look really good. I mean, they do. I'm not complaining about that. I just don't like that I have to layer up this Too Faced one. That annoys me. And then I know that this is gonna transfer. So that's the other thing. All right, so I just lined my lips with the Becca lip liner in Vacation. All right, so we're gonna go with this Illamasqua lipstick, and this is in the shade Cosmic. I think I remember why I didn't like this lipstick. It's very, very drying on the lips. Most lipsticks are a little bit creamier and feel fine, but this is very, very dry. So I'm gonna use this gloss, and this is in Watermelon, and I talked about why I don't like this before. It's just the scent. The scent is so artificial, I can't stand it. But it feels really comfortable on the lips, which is the only reason I haven't decluttered it yet. Okay guys, so this is the final look. I think a lot of these products are gonna get decluttered. I'd probably say half of the products I think are definitely gonna get decluttered, and the other half I'm either not sure or I think I'm gonna keep. That is really all I have for you guys today. So let me know down in the comments below what you thought of these products, if you have tried any of them, if you agree with my opinion on them, or if you think I should give it a little bit more of a shot. I would like to know if you do think I should give it more of a shot, like if you've used one of these products and you're like, no, like try it this way. Like if some of these, like if you have a way to make this foundation work for someone with drier skin and you tell me how to make it work, I will definitely try it because I don't really want to declutter these products, especially if I have to throw them away. So let me know if you do have any useful tips. I would love to hear it because truthfully, I don't want to have to throw everything away. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up before you go and click the subscribe button if you're into beauty related content and fashion related content, guys. That is all for today. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good one. Bye, guys.